Have you ever found yourself wanting to learn a new skill, pursue a hobby, or even find ways to advance your career? But there's always that one obstacle that gets in the way. And what else would that obstacle be except for time? I don't think that I've talked to a single person where at some point in their life they wanted to do something, but the limiting factor was the amount of time that they had. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tyler Warlow. I go by The Mengineer, and I make videos on how to improve your life through your confidence, capabilities, and overall happiness. In today's fast-paced world, we're constantly juggling more and more items. We're trying to stay fit, we're trying to keep a social life, while also trying to meet our responsibilities and learn new things. Between all of this, it can make it seem like it's impossible to find the time for personal growth and learning. If this struggle sounds familiar, you are by no means alone. But I'm here to show you with the right time management strategies, you can add hours to your week. Through this video, I'm gonna go through the secrets of making time work for you. And stick around to the last one because it might be a little bit controversial and I'd love to know your opinion. One of the biggest ways that a lot of people spend a lot of time is making food, or even going out to eat. I'm someone who personally loves to cook, but the issue that I've run into is between making the meal and cleaning up afterwards, it can take between 2 to 3 hours to make a singular meal. Let's say that I make enough for a few servings, so I only have to cook 3 or 4 times a week, but at a minimum, that's 8 hours right there that I could be saving. There's a few different ways that you can go about reducing this overall amount of time that it takes to make food. First off, you can do grocery or meal delivery kits, where kits are delivered to you with either partially prepared ingredients, so all you really need to do is follow the recipe and make it, or fully made meals. This can take hours off the amount of time that it takes you to make food. Now, what I will say is this option tends to be a little bit more expensive. So if you have the money, that's great, but what do you do if you don't have the money for that? You also have a few other options. You can save time by bulk meal prepping on Sunday, such as making really large meals that make multiple servings and then freezing what you'll need later in the week. This is something that I used to do all the time. I would make one meal that would serve as the first part of my week, and then I would make a second meal that I would freeze for the later half of my week. And this could also apply to your lunches as well. You can get together ingredients that you can just pair and set aside and just have that ready to grab and go whenever you're ready for it. Another option is you can make meals that are easy, such as meal replacement shakes. There are some really good options that give you really good nutritional value out there on the market, but you can also take the time to buy the ingredients to make your own shakes. Because making a smoothie, you really just throw the stuff together in there. It takes a minute to blend it, and bam, you've got a shake. But you just got to make sure that you're getting the calories and the nutrients that you need if you decide to go that route. All in all, going with these options can save you several hours per week. So that's my first tip. The second tip that I'm going to talk about is not spending so much time on entertainment. I used to get home from work or even college and then crash on the couch and just spend hours either watching Netflix, playing some sort of video game, or scrolling through social media on my phone. At one point, my average social media use for Instagram was actually 3 hours a day. And these things are great in the moment. They help you feel good, they help you feel accomplished, such if you're playing a video game and getting some sort of achievement. But the issue is, do they really mean anything? Do they help you accomplish anything? The answer is most likely no. Now, this isn't to say that entertainment is bad. I think that there's definitely a time and place for it. But I would maybe think about limiting how much you're doing it. When I was younger, my parents actually had a pretty strict rule of the maximum amount of time that I was allowed to spend on some sort of electronic for the day was 1 hour. And at the time, I really didn't appreciate that. But I look back at it and I think about how much I wanted to play video games and I wanted to do all this other stuff when I had homework and other responsibilities. And if that rule hadn't have been in place, there was no way that I would have been getting everything I needed to done. That 1 hour limit instilled by my parents basically forced me to have the time to get everything else I needed done. So this might be good to establish for yourself. If you really enjoy watching Netflix, maybe set a 1 hour limit on your favorite show, and after an hour, you do something else. The same goes for video games and social media. Those two things are designed to capture your attention and hold it. I don't know how many stories I've heard, myself included, of people who plan to get on for all of 10 minutes and then an hour later they find themselves scrolling through TikToks. I found what was helpful for me, honestly, was just deleting the app for a bit and allowing myself to reset. For other people, I've heard that you can set a timer on your phone and it will lock you out of the app after that time has elapsed. So let's think about this in terms of the amount of time that you'll save per week. If I look back at my Instagram usage where I was on it for 3 hours a day, and I limited that down just to the 1 hour a day, I would have initially been spending 21 hours a week on social media. And after limiting it to an hour a day, I'd only be spending 7 hours a week. That gave me back 14 hours a week to do whatever I wanted with, whether that was going and exercise or learning some new skill. So you can see how easily entertainment can take away from your week. And speaking of entertainment, if you have found this video to be helpful or informative at all so far, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps the channel to grow and as well helps the information to reach people who might not otherwise know it. Thank you so much in advance, and let's continue with the video. Now, the next thing that takes time away from your week is something that a lot of people really don't think about, but that is actually going to be working while distracted. I can't tell you how many different times I've sat down to work for like an hour on learning whatever I wanted to learn or maybe read a new book, but I had my phone next to me, and then I would have a friend text me. And when my friend texted me, that made me think about something else that I needed to do. And lo and behold, 20 minutes later, I'm still texting this person and I haven't done any of the work that I had initially planned to do. And this is a fairly common problem, but a lot of people feel like they can multitask. But I've personally found that I really can't achieve that well. So what are some of the things that I've done to try and counteract this? First off, the easiest thing that you can do is just not have your phone in the room with you at all. That makes it so that any notifications and stuff that do come through, you're really not gonna see. So that way you don't have to worry about it. And then you can check your phone on any scheduled breaks that you might have. If you can't quite go that far and you need to have your phone next to you because you might get important calls and stuff like that, then put it on airplane mode and you can set trusted numbers to be able to reach you. But otherwise, everything else should be blocked from being able to give you distracting notifications. Okay, so you've put your phone outside of the room, but you're working on your laptop. It's still very easy to get on YouTube and watch a video or maybe play a couple minutes of that game. I know that I've done it. So how do you get around that? One of my favorite things to do is to have app blockers that during a specific time period, they cut off access to distracting apps, and you have to put in a password. By having that little bit of an obstacle to get in your way, it makes it a little harder for you to just go ahead and do whatever that distracting thing is. Additionally, I found that setting timers can be really helpful for me. So if I set a timer for 20 minutes, I tell myself I'm gonna do focused work for that 20 minutes, and then I can take like a 5-minute break to check my phone. Finally, your environment can make an impact. Maybe go to a library or a coffee shop and do work, because knowing that other people are around you and can see what you're doing might help to keep you a little bit more focused. So really quick, I know that I said that I was talking about ways to get time back, but would y'all be interested in a video where I talk about time management strategies? Be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Either that, or if you have any other ideas for videos that you'd like to see from me. I like to read and respond to as many of the comments as I can. The next thing that you could be doing that could help you save some hours in your week is by keeping your home clean on a daily basis, not just when it needs to. By having a cluttered environment, it induces stress into the brain and can actually offer distractions that you wouldn't have otherwise thought. Whether you're looking for something and you can't find it, or you knock something over because it's in the way, that's taking time away from you, and it can cause some stressful moments. By taking a little bit of time at the end of each day to just make your environment clean, it also prevents you from having to take several hours in another day to have to clean something up, let's say if you're having a guest over. By taking those few minutes to make everything and clean, you're preventing yourself from having to spend hours another day that you could have spent maybe learning a new skill. Something my fiance and I have tried is having a set checklist of things that we need to do before we go to bed, such as cleaning off the table, making sure any dirty dishes are put away or any clean dishes are put away, as well as cleaning up any clothes that might have been left lying around on the floor. By taking care of those small things at the end of the day, it's ensuring that they're not building up, because I know several people who, if they let their dishes build up, it can be a 30-minute to an hour-long experience of cleaning them. So by just taking those few minutes, you're eliminating all that time that might otherwise take if you let it get to a greater amount. My personal tip for this is, if it's a task that's going to take you less than 5 minutes to do, just do it. It's a small action that will pay you dividends in the long run. And finally, I'm going to talk about my last tip. And some of y'all really might not like it, but you have to get honest with yourself and re-examine your priorities. So stop saying yes to everything. You don't need to say yes to every social engagement that you're invited to, but you have to get honest with yourself. If you prefer to have a good social life and spend a lot of time with your friends, then great, go ahead and pursue that. But maybe taking the time that you need to learn a new skill is not for you. If you decide that you want to learn something new, then you might need to take opportunities to say no to your friends or coworkers that you wouldn't have otherwise. For instance, let's say that you were invited to some party on the weekend, but you haven't met your needed amount of time to study for a job certification to help you progress in your career. If your priority is to learn that new thing and progress in your career, you should say no to that party because you need to take that time. If your priority is to hang out with your friends, that's great. There's not a problem with that. But understand that you need to be realistic with yourself and not try and convince yourself that you can learn something new while also doing all these other things. Sit down, get honest with yourself, establish your priorities, and ruthlessly cut out everything that is not a priority. But that's gonna bring us to the end of today's video. I hope that y'all liked it. If you found this video or any others like it to be helpful or informative, be sure to give it a like and a thumbs up to help the channel grow and spread to new people. If you have any of your own ideas or thoughts or even some video ideas, be sure to leave a comment down below. I like to read and respond to as many of them as I can. If you're interested in more videos where I talk about increasing your ability to learn, be sure to check out this video right here where I talk about my top resources to learn new things for free. If you're interested in some of my more recent stuff, be sure to check out this video right here. But in the meantime, this is the Mengineer signing off.